Hey everyone, what if I told you there is a cloud storage service that offers lifetime plans, blazing fast speeds, and might just be the hidden gem for media lovers like me? I've been using pCloud for years now and have been putting it through absolute hell with my testing in the last few months. Look, I've tried virtually every cloud storage service under the sun, and I mean every single one. And I've really come to appreciate when a provider offers something truly different. And heck, I think I've been using cloud storage services since 2007. And for all I know, I've been one of the first Dropbox customers. But pCloud stands out in this ridiculously crowded market with some features that honestly blew me away, and a few quirks that left me scratching my head thinking, what were they thinking? Is pCloud actually worth your time and money, or is it just another pretty face in the cloud storage dating pool? Stay with me to find out, and I've got some thoughts. I'll start this deep dive by discussing the core features that make pCloud tick. Then we'll get into some of the more specialized functions that really make it stand out from the crowd. And this isn't just going to be a surface level overview. I've been living this for years at this point, and I've also got the receipts for it. So let's get into it. At the heart of pCloud, there's something called the pCloud Drive. Essentially, a virtual drive that appears on your computer just like a regular hard disk would, and the genius part about it, it doesn't actually take up space on your local machine. Mind blown. For someone like me who works with massive 4K video files but has an SSD that's perpetually on the brink of extinction, this is an absolute game changer. I can see all my files, but they're not hogging up precious space on my computer. It's like having your cake and eating it too, if your cake was made of terabytes, that is. One thing that genuinely shocked me was when I was testing pCloud, and it is really seamless how this virtual drive works. I was editing a 4K project directly from the pCloud Drive, fully expecting the usual cloud storage lagfest, and performance was nearly identical to working from my local SSD. I really had to double check that I wasn't accidentally using my local drive. That's really how smooth it was, and that's seriously impressive and something I can't say about most of pCloud's competitors. And trust me, I've suffered through enough laggy cloud storage experience to appreciate when something actually works as advertised. And sharing and syncing folders are basically the bread and butter of cloud storage services, right? And for the most part, pCloud does a great job with both, with a few asterisks attached. Now, sharing files with pCloud is straightforward and offers more control than many competitors. You can generate links to files or folders, set password and expiration dates, and even customize permissions. Right, I've got that. But here's the catch. Most of the advanced sharing features are reserved for paid plans. That's pretty typical, right? One feature I absolutely love was the ability to share any folder and invite others to upload content to that folder. It's super handy for team projects or when I'm collecting footage from different videographers. Though, let's be honest, there are better options out there if your team needs tools for productivity and collaboration. pCloud isn't trying to be Google Workspace, and for me, in my book, that's okay. Anything you share or that's shared with you shows up in the Shared tab on your account page. And from there, you can manage all shared items. I do appreciate that you can see when a shared file was accessed and from what general location, a feature that saved my bacon when I needed to confirm a client had actually reviewed materials I'd sent them. Oh, whoa, you didn't get a chance to look at it yet? Well, funny, because someone in your city spent 18 minutes with it yesterday. So maybe it's not the full truth here. The sync feature in pCloud are where things get really interesting. Like most cloud storage, any files that you share, upload, or download seamlessly sync with your account, no matter if you access them on the web or on your phone. And even better, you can sync any local folder on your computer using pCloud Drive. I particularly like this part of pCloud Sync. It puts a ton of control in my hands, and I'm not restricted to a single sync folder like some other services that shall remain nameless. Dropbox. But one of pCloud Drive's best features is selective sync. which, well, you might have guessed it, lets me choose exactly which files I want to keep in the cloud or download to my computer. If I'm currently working on a project, I can keep those files downloaded for instant access. For archives or less frequently accessed content, I'll keep them cloud only to save precious local storage. It's like having a digital assistant who knows exactly which files you need close at hand. Block level sync is another feature where pCloud absolutely shines. From a technical standpoint, that is. This means that when you modify a file, only the changed portions get uploaded rather than the entire file. And to visualize this, imagine you're editing a massive 1 hour, I don't know, 1 hour video file, a 2 GB file, whatever it is, and you just trim 10 seconds from the end. Now, rather than re-uploading the entire 2 GB, or 10 or 20, or however large the file is, which would be a complete nightmare on most connections, pCloud just syncs the small portions you edited. And it's basically the difference between waiting 30 seconds or 30 minutes, and when you're on a deadline, that's basically everything that counts, right? Let's talk about some of pCloud's more advanced features that really make it stand out from the crowd. And this is where things get juicy. First up is pCloud's built-in media player, which goes way beyond what most cloud storage services offer. This isn't just a basic file viewer, it's a full-featured streaming solution for both audio and video that made me question why I was paying for separate streaming services. During my testing, I was able to create playlists, shuffle tracks, and even continue playback when my phone screen was locked, something surprisingly rare in cloud storage apps these days. And I mean, come on, this is not 2025, right? I mean, we're here, we need these features, so thank you pCloud for implementing that. I tested this with my entire music library containing over 5,000 tracks and a video collection with files ranging from small clips to full 4K movies. Everything played smoothly without buffering issues, even when streaming 4K content over a 4G connection while I was stuck in traffic. I was generally impressed. Yes, the video takes a little while to load, but then it plays back smoothly, which is all I care for. For content creators who need to share rough cuts with clients or musicians who want access to the entire library on the go, this feature alone might be worth the price of admission. I've literally canceled another subscription because pCloud made it essentially redundant, and that's how good it is. Another advanced feature I've grown to love is pCloud's file versioning system. By default, file versions are kept for 15 days on free accounts and 30 days for paid users. But here's where it gets interesting. pCloud offers an extended file history add-on that lets you recover files for up to a year after deletion or editing. Let me give you a real-world example when this saved my behind. I was working on a massive client presentation, and after making substantial changes, I realized I needed information from the original version from 3 weeks ago. With pCloud, recovering that specific version took just 2 clicks. Had I been using a service with more limited versioning, I would have been absolutely screwed. That feature alone paid for itself in that moment. And yes, I know we have AI now, we can recreate things more easily, basically, but still, it was crucial data that only this version had. And finally, pCloud lets you create a public folder that acts almost like a file server. It's a surprisingly handy feature that you can use to create direct links to folders and files. You can even use it to create static HTML pages, perfect for simple portfolio or basic advertising and marketing. Embed a few images and boom, you've got like a small web presence without any additional cost. Not something I expect from a cloud storage service, but it's certainly a welcome surprise. Let's take a moment to talk about what's actually like to use pCloud day to day, because after all, an app can have all the bells and whistles in the world, but if it's clunky and unintuitive to use, well, what's the point of using it? I've used dozens of cloud storage services. Some made me really want to throw my computer out the window, and I can confidently say that pCloud ranks among the most intuitive. Now, the interface is clean without feeling sparse, and important functions are never more than a click or two away. No hunting through endless menus or clicking through 7 different screens to do basic tasks. Thank God. So this saved me a lot of time also for creating this review. Okay, cross-platform compatibility is another strength of pCloud, as it works across Windows, macOS, Linux, iOS, and Android. I've tested it extensively on all these platforms, and yes, even Linux. I'm that kind of nerd, and the experience is remarkably consistent. The mobile apps are particularly polished, which isn't always the case with cloud storage providers, and usually they feel a little bit like an afterthought. Now, the desktop experience centers around that virtual drive. that we've discussed earlier. It integrates perfectly with File Explorer on Windows or Finder on the Mac, so there's essentially no learning curve if you're comfortable with your current operating system's native file manager. It just works. What impressed me during testing was how file thumbnails and previews loaded almost instantly, even of folders containing hundreds of files. If you've ever waited 30 seconds for a folder or of images to load the thumbnails, you know exactly how frustrating that can be. The web interface deserves a praise too. It's responsive, loads quickly, and offers nearly all the functionality of the desktop application. And during a week, when I was without a main computer, I was able to manage all my cloud storage needs through the web interface without any significant limitations. The mobile experience deserves a special mention. Many cloud storage apps feel like afterthoughts, right? I've mentioned this before, but pCloud's mobile apps are fully featured. The automatic camera upload function works flawlessly. I tested it extensively, and every photo and video was backed up seamlessly in the background without me having to open the app. Like no battery drain, no notifications every 5 seconds, just quiet efficiency in the background. One handy feature on mobile is the ability to make files available offline. I loaded up my phone with several episodes of my favorite series and some documents before a long flight, and everything was accessible without an internet connection. The app even remembers your place in audio and video files, so I could pause and resume playback seamlessly between sessions. It's those little quality of life features that make all the difference. For the part that cloud storage nerds like me get excited about, and here we are, performance testing. I put pCloud through extensive upload and download tests using both 100 megabits per second and 1 gigabit per second connection. And the results were, honestly, quite darn impressive. For consistency, I used a standardized 5 gigabit folder containing mix of files, from documents and photos up to 4K videos. On a 100 megabits connection, uploads took an average of just 7 minutes, while downloads were even faster at about 6.5 minutes. This puts pCloud way ahead of most competitors, including a faster average download speed than Google Drive, which many consider the speed benchmark. Now, when I cranked things up to 1 gigabit per second connection, pCloud really showed what it's capable of. Upload and download speeds hovered around 2 minutes each, which is up there with some of the fastest cloud storage providers I've tested. And this kind of performance is crucial if you're regularly working with large files or need to quickly access content on different devices. There's nothing worse than sitting there watching a progress bar that barely moves. What's particularly impressive is how consistent these speeds remained during peak usage hours. Many cloud storage services throttle down during high traffic periods, and we've all been there. But pCloud maintained its high speeds at all times of the day. I did notice some slowdown with larger files on the 1 gigabit per second test, but nothing that prevented it from our achieving speedy uploads. I also tested how pCloud performs when syncing multiple devices simultaneously, with changes being made on 3 different devices at once. pCloud kept everything in sync with minimal delays. The block-level sync technology really shows its value here. When editing large files, changes automatically update to other devices in seconds rather than minutes. What really stood out in my testing was the download speed for recipients. So, when I shared a 1 gigabit video file with a colleague, they reported download speeds nearly identical to what they'd get from a dedicated file transfer service. And that's a really big deal if you regularly share large files and deliverables to clients or other team members. All right, security and privacy. Important. Security and privacy are a critical consideration for any cloud storage service, and pCloud is, well, a bit of a mixed bag. Let's start first with the positives. pCloud employs the tried and tested TLS SSL encryption for files in transit and AES 256-bit encryption for files at rest. During my security testing, all connections established with pCloud servers properly implemented these protocols, which is kind of reassuring, especially considering I store a lot of sensitive files in the cloud. And two-factor authentication is also available and works reliably across all platforms. So far, so good. Now, for these aspects where pCloud could improve, and honestly, this is where I have some serious concerns, is while they do offer client-side or zero-knowledge encryption through what they call pCloud encryption, this comes as a paid add-on rather than being included in the base subscription. This is frankly disappointing, especially when competitors like Sync.com, Internext, and Phylon include this feature at no extra cost, protecting essentially all your files. pCloud's encryption limits client-side encryption to a single folder, and this folder is called the crypto folder. It's like buying a house and having to pay extra for a lock on one of the bedroom doors. And for those unfamiliar with client-side encryption, it means that only you hold the encryption keys to your data. Even pCloud employees can't access your files. And without this feature, pCloud staff could theoretically access your data if compelled by authorities. Not great if privacy is very high on your priority list, to be honest. Now, speaking of authorities, pCloud's server's location present an interesting, let's call it privacy conundrum. Now, if you don't choose the EU servers when you sign up, your data will fall under the US jurisdiction. Not ideal from a privacy perspective. You want to make sure you do this when you first sign up, because if not, moving your data to Luxembourg will cost you 20 bucks. Now, it feels a bit like they're holding your data hostage, which left a little bad taste in my mouth, to be honest. And during my testing from a US location, I did notice slight performance differences between the US and the Luxembourg servers. Still, if privacy is a priority, the European Union is worth considering, even with the slightly slower speeds. It's a trade-off you'll need to evaluate based on your needs, obviously. Let's quickly cover pCloud's pricing structure. Now, the free plan offers a generous 10 gigabytes of storage, but you'll have to work for it a little bit. Now, flex the muscles. You start out with 2 gigabytes and have to complete some simple tests, or sorry, not tests really, but tasks to reach the 10 gigabytes they advertised. These are micro tasks like verifying your email, going through a multi-stage tutorial. It's really nothing too complicated, and each one gives you 1 gigabyte of extra storage space. Plus, you'll get 1 gigabyte of space for each friend you invite, up to a maximum of 3. Once you complete these, you'll get the full 10 gigabytes of free storage. It's a bit of a game, but hey, free storage is free storage, right? For paid plans, pCloud offers both subscription and lifetime options. The premium plan with 500 gigabytes starts at around $50 per year, while the premium plus plans with 2 terabytes cost upwards of $100 annually. If you need more information, you can always click the link in the description box below, where you can find all the plans and details, and also you get a special CloudWords promotion for this. And on the plus side, you also support this channel if you sign up through one of our links. Thank you very much. If you need more space, the Ultra 10 terabytes will cost you around $200 per year. These prices are competitive, but, well, they're not the best deals you can find. I've seen cheaper options from competitors, but only during special promotions like Black Friday. And speaking of Black Friday, you do want to really pay attention to these deals on Black Friday, because pCloud notoriously has excellent deals around that time, and we're going to update the links in the description box below. So whenever Black Friday hits, now obviously is not the time, but when it hits, you can click the link and you make sure that you get the best deal on pCloud possible. Now, where pCloud truly stands out is with its lifetime plans. I know it sounds flashy. I know many people are skeptical about lifetime plans. Obviously, when we talk about lifetime plans, it is about the lifetime of the provider, not your lifetime, obviously. We never know how long pCloud is going to be in business. What I can say, they've been in business for 10 plus years, and in my opinion, they're not going to go anywhere, right? So you can really calculate on your own, like when you're going to break even on a lifetime subscription. I do have a lifetime subscription because I think it's just a good deal. I tend to sign up for a lifetime subscription if a cloud storage service offers it, for example, iStrive as well, because I just think it's a good deal. It's the best deal you can currently get. And it's also, on the long run, a little bit cheaper if you were running your own NAS infrastructure with less technical hassle. So a lot of pros on the lifetime subscription. And obviously, I don't have to tell you that the lifetime subscription will eliminate the recurring subscription entirely for a one-time payment. Now, One-time payment depends on the plan. In pCloud's case, we have $200 for 500 gigabytes, we have $400 for 2 terabytes, and just under $1,200 for 10 terabytes. Now, as I said, it sounds like a big investment, but if you click on one of our links, you get always the best deal, and there are great discounts available at a lot of times during the year. During my testing period, I've seen these prices, as I said, discounted even further. Now, probably sometimes 50%, so pay attention to that. And I personally, I think if I remember correctly, I grabbed the 2 terabyte lifetime plan during was it Black Friday or was it some other, maybe a Valentine's Day? I don't recall exactly, but I grabbed it on a Black Friday, let's say it was a Black Friday sale, for less than $300. And that was pretty impressive if you think about that. Let's talk about the encryption add-on. The encryption add-on for zero-knowledge encryption costs an additional $50 per year, or you can also opt for a one-time payment of $150 for lifetime access. And as I mentioned earlier, I wish this was included in the base subscription, but at least the lifetime option means you can pay once and essentially be done with it. Still, it feels a little nickel and diming for a feature that should be standard. What's my final verdict on pCloud? And after 3 months of extensive testing, really extensive testing, I've been using it longer, as I said before, but dragging and dropping countless files, streaming videos, and trying to break pCloud, I can confidently say it is probably one of the best cloud storage options available. But it's particularly well suited for specific types of users, which I've alluded to in this review. So for example, if you work a lot with media files, then pCloud is arguably the best choice on the market. And I mean it. The combination of excellent built-in media player, virtual drive technology, and impressive speed makes it perfect for photographers, videographers, and musicians. It's been a complete game changer for my workflow, especially when you add terabytes and terabytes and terabytes per month or per year to your cloud storage. This will really, really help you archive and store all your media files, maybe even as a backup solution if your go-to solution now is Google Drive. Say you use Google Drive a lot because you also have to collaborate on certain documents live with other people, and then use it also for cloud storage. So you can basically you can back up that data from Google Drive to pCloud and use it as a cheap archive solution if you get one of the lifetime deals, for example. It's also a good idea to always back up files, even if it's stored on a cloud storage service. So cloud to cloud backup is something that we haven't talked about much here on this channel, but it's really something I consider crucial and needs to be thought about well in terms of your overall cloud storage strategy. Now, the lifetime plans also make pCloud appealing for users who hate subscriptions and want to pay once for permanent access. I hate subscriptions because it feels like everyone is charging a subscription fee these days. I mean, even your toothbrush will charge you a subscription fee for analyzing how you brush your teeth. I mean, it's ridiculous at this point, and I don't want to spend $100, $200, $500 a month for all of my subscriptions here. Now, according to my calculations, and you can do your own thing, obviously, but the break-even point compared to annual subscriptions is around 3 years. So if you're planning to use cloud storage long-term, and who isn't these days, the lifetime option offers excellent value. In a world where everything wants a monthly payment, this is pretty refreshing. Now, okay, where pCloud falls short, and this is a big one for me, is for users who prioritize built-in privacy. The additional cost for client-side encryption means privacy-conscious users will end up paying significantly more than the advertised rates. And if privacy is your primary concern, services like sync.com might be more suitable despite being somewhat slower. And it's a classic case of security versus convenience. That said, if you don't mind the extra cost of pCloud encryption, then I don't see the issue really. pCloud also isn't ideal for teams needing advanced collaboration features. And while the sharing options are solid, It lacks real-time co-editing and sophisticated permission structures that services like Google Workspace offer. It's really designed for individuals first and foremost. And if you want more videos on Google Workspace and how to set it up and structure it correctly, drop a comment and we'll do more videos on Google Workspace. Ultimately, pCloud delivers on its promise of being fast, of being, reliable, user-friendly, and, well, overall excels in its media capabilities. It also has flexible pricing options and make it stand out in a pretty crowded market. Now, for individual users, especially those working with media files, pCloud is a solution I can wholeheartedly recommend. It's earned a permanent place in my tech stack, in my tech toolkit. What do you think? Are you using pCloud already, or are you considering making the switch? Let me know in the comments below, and if you found this deep dive helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe for more in-depth tech reviews. I'll see you in my next one.